What's up, guys? This is Kumar coming to you again with an updated Gladiator Beast deck profile for the August 2020 format. I have finally got all the missing pieces of the deck that I actually wanted to play in this, and I am so excited. I am pumped to bring to you this updated deck profile, which is a serious improvement over my previous profile, which I have presented on my channel. I personally feel that my my deck's power level has jumped up by several levels given the new support, and I can't wait to go into depth about every single one of these card effects with you guys going forward. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Starting off with the main deck on the monsters side, we run yet again 3 copies of Test Tiger. If you don't already know what this card does, I'm going to give you a brief rundown as to what it is. So basically, if you control a Gladiator Beats monster or Gladiator Beats name on your side of the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. It's not a once per turn, by the way. And then you can tribute this card, target a Gladiator Beats monster that you control, shuffle it back into the deck, and special summon a Gladiator Beats monster with the same or a different name to your side of the field. This special summon is treated as having the gladiator beast summoned by the effect of a gladiator beast, and therefore the gladiator beast in this case will get its effects. This can range from special summoning another gladiator beast from your hand or from your graveyard. This can be sending a gladiator beast from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. This can be adding more attack points to all of your gladiator beasts and special summon and monsters on the field. But when summoned by the effect of a gladiator beast, this can be literally anything. There's a whole gamut of effects that's actually possible when you have this play starter in play. I run this card at 3 for a very, very strong reason. I think it's a card that you really need to see, that you really have to see. This is too good a card not to play at 3, and therefore I definitely want to play at 3. This is actually one of those cards that you actually want to get on the field as soon as possible using your other extenders so that you can get your plays going, getting into your link and exceed plays. So that's 3 copies of Test Tiger. We're going to follow that up with 2 copies of Gladiator Beast Darius. Oh boy. Well, first of all, I like playing a Gladiator Beast Darius at 2. To explain what this card does, he's a Earth type Beast Warrior effect monster. He is basically the monster reborn for each one of your Gladiator beasts in the deck. So what this card states is, if this card is special summoned by the effect of another Gladiator beast monster or by the effect of your Test Tiger here, you can target one of the Gladiator beast monster in your graveyard other than himself and special summon it to your side of the field with its effects negated. Yes, with its effects negated. The reason for that is that if you special summon that Gladiator beast monster with its effects intact, it would be pretty busted. Imagine, for instance, special summoning one of your big boss monsters, Gladiator beast Geyserus, to your side of the field with its effects intact. That Geyserus would then immediately get its effect to pop 2 cards on the field, and then you can continue your plays from there. That would be broken, frankly. So therefore, in order to balance out the card, Konami decided to design the card in such a way that the monster special summoned by this effect could not activate its effects. Very, very good card. I still recommend playing this at 2. There is a very good chance that your opponent will have some kind of a card or effect that will activate or can chain in response to the effect of Gladiator Beast Darius when it's special summoned by the effect of another Gladiator Beast or by the effect of your Test Tiger. So it is safe playing it at 2 because you'll get to use its effect one more time from the deck. So very, very strong, obviously. We follow that up with 2 copies of Gladiator Beast Noxious. If people are not aware even now as to what this card does, I'm going to give a quick explanation. This is a dark attribute Beast Warrior effect monster. He's a level 5. So basically, when your opponent is declaring a direct attack on you, you can special summon this card from your hand, and when you do so, this card is treated as a special summon with the effect of a Gladiator Beast because it's a Gladiator Beast in name. So this card, what it is basically he's a searchable, special summonable Armageddon Knight for the entire archetype. So when he's special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast, or by the effect of Test Tiger, or by his own effect, you can send one other Gladiator Beast monster other than himself from your deck to the graveyard. And then at the end of the battle phase, if this card battled, survived the battle, and its effect was not negated, you can shuffle this card back into the deck and special summon one other Gladiator Beast with a different name. You can. This is not a once per turn, so that's absolutely amazing. And it's worthwhile to note that Noxious is a level 5, which actually makes him a very suitable fusion material for some of your bigger fusion monsters like Tamer, which is something that you always want to go into to get Domitianus on your side of the field as quickly as possible as a monster negate to apt to play against Nibiru, for instance. Very, very good card. We follow that up with two copies of Gladiator Beats Bastari. Ah, Gladiator Beats Bastari. Well, I remember when this card had gone to one, it was like the world had ended for all the Gladiator Beast players. It was really sad. What that meant was at the time, if by chance you were denied the summoning of this card, or if your opponent responded to the summon of this card by, say, for instance, a bottomless trap hole and banished it, you could not go into the big boss monster Gladiator Beast Geysers for the remainder of that duel. It was absolutely impossible. It was the April 2015 ban list which finally saw this guy come back to three, and every one of the Gladiator Beast players breathed a heavy sigh of relief because then it was possible to play our favorite Geyser spam deck all over again. So what this guy is, he's a wind type winged beast effect monster with 1500 attack and 800 defense. He is colloquially called the MST of the archetype. So when he is special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster or by the effect of your Test Tiger, you can target one spell or trap on the field and destroy it. And at the end of the battle phase, if this card battled, survived the battle, and his effect was not negated, you can shuffle him back into the deck and special summon a Gladiator Beast monster from your deck, other than Gladiator Beast Bastari. Very, very good card. This is a very important card. It actually allows you to go into some of your more much needed fusion monsters from the extra deck, and also can be used for link summons. At the end of your main at the end of your I mean during your turn's end phase, if you have the Simog link on your side of the field, this is one possible target. Although I don't know why you would be going into this, this is one possible target for the Simog link to be special summoning. But 99 times out of 100, this is not the target you'll be special summoning. There's another very special card you will be getting to your side of the field, assuming all the preparations are made, and that's a card we will be going into later. We're going to follow that up with one copy of Gladiator Beast Acrex. Oh my god, this is one of the best cards I've ever seen for Gladiator Beast in a very, very long time. This is a part of the new support that came out of Chaos Impact. She is an Earth type Beast Warrior monster with 800 attack and 2000 defense, so she's got a significant amount of defense which you can actually use for your advantage. She's a level 4 as well. So if you're playing a rank 4 toolbox, that can be of use. So I've seen some players, and I myself have also played the rank 4 fire the Tiger King XYZ, the Brotherhood of the Firecast Tiger King. This is actually one of the possible materials you can actually use to make that card very, very strong. So what she does is, if this card is special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster or by the effect of your Test Tiger, you can send one Gladiator Beast monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and until the end phase, this card, its name and level become the name and level of the card that you sent to the graveyard. This is very important because it allows you to go into some really, really crazy plays. For instance, you can send, say a Gladiator Beast Geyserus to your graveyard, and this card will become Gladiator Beast Geyserus level 6, and it actually allows you to go into a Tamer editor, which is absolutely amazing, bonkers. There are various combinations actually you can go into using this card. But of course, just like any other Gladiator Beast, if this card at the end of the battle phase battled a monster, survived the battle, and its effect was not negated, you can shuffle this card back into the deck and special summon a Gladiator Beast monster other than herself from your deck to your side of the field. Very, very good card. We're going to go ahead and show off our two copies of Gladiator Beats Vespasians, another one of the new cards from Chaos Impact. This guy is a water type sea serpent effect monster. He's got 2300 attack and no defense, but the defense part is absolutely not at all consequential for us at all whatsoever, because he has a very, very powerful effect. So if your Gladiator Beats monster battles, basically, at the start of the damage step, if your Gladiator Beats monster battles an opponent's monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you have two in your hand, you can special summon both of them from your hand. And when you do so, they both have a stacking effect that grants every single Gladiator Beast monster on your side of the field, in fact, every single monster on your side of the field, an additional 500 attack. So basically, If you have two of them special summoned by their effect to your side of the field, all the monsters in your side of the field, including these guys, will get a total of 1,000 attack. Period. That is a huge, huge, huge boost. It actually allows you to beat over several of your opponent's monsters. A lot of the time, it will just ensure that battles are won for your gladiator beats, which is really, really strong. These guys, both of them, they start out with 2,300 attack. So basically, if they special summon together here side of the field, they go up to 3,300, powering up every single one of your other monsters also by 1,000, which is very, very, very strong. Another thing is that these guys, the Gladiator Beats Vespasius is the named material for one of our newer fusion monsters from the Chaos Impact set, Gladiator Beats Domitianus. That card is very, very critical to the strategy, and we're going to get into why very, 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 very soon. So, yeah, oftentimes you're going to be pitching this card off of Atrix, or you're going to be pitching this card off of, the off of Noxious, and then you're going to use Noxious's effect to special summon Darius, and Darius is going to revive the Vespasius. And on your turn, you can use Vespasius to go into Domitianus or basically any of the fusion monsters that you really want, which is really, really strong. We're going to continue our discussion with two copies of Gladiator Beast Augustus. Oh, oh, geez. This is actually one of the older Gladiator Beast boss monsters in the main deck that I actually liked even back then. Although there was actually kind of like a problem with running him prior to the Battles of Legend, the Light's Revenge set, wherein which we got our new support for Gladiator Beats Noxious and all that. I think this is a card which I personally wouldn't run at 3. I've seen some people run it at 1, but I think that's kind of just doing this a little bit of injustice, to be honest. You can run it at 3, but there's a chance that you'll actually clog, even if you're running a rank 8 engine, because uh, if you open two of your Augustus and know ways to actually go into your Augustus from what you've opened in your starting hand, that's going to be a huge, 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 huge problem for you. So I would rather run this at 2, open one, and basically just special summon one from the deck, pretty much at the very, very most, even on the case of a bad hand, because I actually want to see much better cards, more qualified extender cards and play starter cards in my hand first up, rather than see this card. But even so, this guy is a dark attribute winged beast effect monster with 2,600 attack and 1,000 defense. This guy states that when he's special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster or by the effect of your Test Tiger, you can special summon one of the Gladiator Beast monster from your hand, including himself. So it doesn't really matter. So uh, at any given point in time, you can special summon one Gladiator Beast monster from your hand when he's special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast, and you special summon that Gladiator Beast in defense position. Unfortunately, yes, it's in defense position. However, at the end of the battle phase of this card battled, survived the battle, and its effect was not negated, you can shuffle the card back into your main deck and special summon a Gladiator Beast from your deck face up to your side of the field other than himself. Very, very strong card. I would personally always want to see this if I'm trying to push for damage, or if I want to special summon more, extenders from my hand, Gladiator Beast extenders from my hand to go into my link as well as my you know my link and fusion plates in this case. Very, very strong card. He is also the named attribute for Gladiator Beast Underbata. So Underbata is a one-off in our deck. We're going to get into him very, very soon. It's very critical to the strategy. I'm going to explain why. There's actually a pretty good loop which you can actually use Underbata and Geyserison to basically able to pop cards. Very, very strong card. Next, we play the one-off Gladiator Beast Quest. Well, Gladiator Beast Quest is pretty much the monster reincarnation for the entire archetype. He's a wind attribute, winged beast effect monster with 1,600 attack and 400 defense. So basically, when this card is special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster or by the effect of your Test Tiger, you can target any Gladiator Beast card. Yes, that's right, Gladiator Beast card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So basically, that means that Gladiator Beast card, if you have a way of getting to your side of the field already available, becomes live again. So pretty much, really, really strong card. You only want to run him at 1 because he's searchable. You don't want to clog with him because his effect is very specific. It's just to add to your hand. You can use it more than once per turn. However, you don't want to use it more than once per turn because you only want to recover very specific cards using his effect. You want to recover a Darius. You want to recover, uh, you know, uh, one of your Gladiator Beast, spell cards or trap cards from your graveyard. So those are the kinds of cards you actually want to recover with the quest, not the kind of card you want to be running in multiples and clog with. So yeah, there you have it. Now we come to the part of the deck which actually is the most exciting for me, ladies and gentlemen. This is the part of the deck which has actually changed the most, and I'm going to start off this discussion with three copies of Rescue Rabbit, and three copies of Gladiator Beast Andal. This is such a powerful engine. You have no idea just how powerful, just how far-reaching this play starter, this engine is for the deck. This just allows the deck's power level to jump up by several levels. We now play the new support from Chaos Impact known as Gladiator Beast Rejection. That card, especially if you have that card out on your field, if you open up this play starter combo and you're not negated, that can lead into some really bonkers boards. Like really, guys, I'm not kidding to you. I'm not kidding you. You can go into your Tiger plays, you can go into your fusion plays, you can go into far reaching link plays. You can end on a very very powerful board filled with negates and a lot of field control, field presence. Really really strong. It is absolutely amazing. So basically, Rescue Cat, he is Earth type level 4 beast effect monster, 300 attack and 100 defense. Basically, if this card cannot be special summoned from the deck, you can banish this card face up and then special summon two level 4 or lower normal monsters from the deck to your side of the field with the same name. So 100 out of 100 times if you open this card, you're going to be special summoning two copies of Gladiator Beast Undal. Gladiator Beast Undal is a vanilla Gladiator Beast with 1900 attack and 1500 defense. It's a Beast Warrior, Earth type for level 4. So, as you can already see, he is a Gladiator Beast in name. So, basically, your Test Tiger plays and Test Tiger shenanigans already come into play. And if you've got the Gladiator Beast Rejection, the continuous field, the continuous spell out, that can actually lead into even more combos if you've opened more Gladiator Beast monsters in your hand. So, you can get them to your side of the field. That's like crazy, crazy, crazy powerful moves, man. Obviously crazy powerful moves. This is your ticket. This card is one of your biggest tickets to winning against, winning in the Sky Striker matchup. So basically, if you've got Gladiator Beast Ondal on your side of the field, a lot of their card effects that basically target the monsters that you control to destroy the monsters that you control, or to steal them, like Widow Anchor, for instance, they won't work on you. They just won't work on you. So that's like really really strong. So three copies of Gladiator Beats Andor and three copies of Rescue Rabbit. Very, very critical to the strategy in going into the next format. The power level of the deck has jumped up by several fold just by including them. No kidding. Next week play the one card which is going to be 100% the target of the Zamog link if you have it on field during the end phase, assuming all the other preparations of their board are made right, and that is a barrier statue of the Stormwinds. Oh my god, this is such a powerful card, ladies and gentlemen. This is so strong, it is bonkers. Wind attribute, level 4 winged beast effect monster, 1000 attack and defense. What this card is basically your win condition. Basically, this card basically says, I win to the opponent. If they don't open a dark rule no more, or something like an evenly matched, or something along those lines, you- you're going to win. You're just going to win. So the reason for that is that basically no monsters can be special summoned when this card is face up on the field except for wind monsters, which basically also locks you. But that is not a problem because if you've got IP Masquerade on your side of the field and three other monsters outside of having this card on the field and the Samog link pointing to it, you can go into an Apollosa. An Apollosa is a wind link monster, so you're not prevented from summoning Apollosa to your side of the field for four monster negates. Brilliant while this card is face up on your field. Very, very strong. Very strong. Next, we play, just like before, three copies of Soravis the Ancient and Ascended. The reason I play Soravis is pretty much I've already explained it to you. It's just that I don't want my Gladiator Beast monsters, or basically any monster that I control for that matter, to be the target of a card effect. I mean, I don't want them to be targeted. I don't want their effects negated. I don't want them impermed. I don't want them lost winded. I don't want them BTS or breakthrough skilled. I don't want them to be popped by nightmares. spun by, say, Nightmare Unicorn or whatever. Uh, Man, there's just so many effects in the game that target, and this is actually really, really annoying. I would definitely like to protect my Gladiator Beast from that. We already play Gladiator Beast Rejection, which basically protects each and every one of your Gladiator Beasts during the main phases. So even during the battle phase, if your opponent tries to activate something that basically targets one of your Gladiator Beast cards or any monster that you control, you can, if you've got this in your hand, just discard this, negate the activation of the targeting effect, and you'll be done with it. Word to the wise though, Saravis' second effect, which basically is an effect which allows you to bounce into the hand to banish one face of monster on the field, that effect doesn't come up. We do not ritual summon him at all. There is no literal way to ritual summon him. So therefore, we just use him as a hand trap pretty much. Going second, if you, I mean, in games 2 and 3, you might consider switching him out to, say, a Fantastical Dragon Phantasme for better targeting protection and also more plussing on the draws. But that's up to you. That's completely up to you. I mean, it's kind of like here and there. That's it for the monsters. Now we're going into the spells. We're going to start off with the one-off Preparation of Rites. The reason I play Preparation of Rites is basically to try and ensure a way to have Saravis in my hand when I'm actually making my combos, because I kind of prefer not to have my opponent target me all that much. So Preparation of Rites basically allows me to add Saravis to my hand from my deck. So this is technically a fourth copy of Saravis, basically. And if this gets ashed, then then it's okay. It's fine because then your opponent can't use Ash Blossom and Joy Spring for the rest of the turn, and you're more or less free to go along with your plays for the most part. Pretty much, not a big deal. Really, really good card. I highly recommend playing it. It's a one-off, but it's worth it, I would say, just to get your Saravis back at your hand. Next, we go for the searchers for the deck. I play three copies of Gladiator's Proving Ground. Some people like to play this card at two, but I find that this is too good a card not to max out. This is like, I think of this in the same way as I think of any other search card pretty much. You want to max out on your searchers just so that you have a better chance of actually seeing your combo starters and play starters and actually making plays off. So basically, Gladiator's Proving Ground allows you to add one level 4 or lower Gladiator Beast monster from your deck to your hand. Too good a card not to run at 3, so therefore it's something that you always want to see pretty much. We're going to continue with the new support from Chaos Impact. Three copies of Gladiator's Rejection. Oh my god, this is such a powerful card, ladies and gentlemen. This is a face up continuous spell. This is not a Gladiator Beast card. It's a Gladiator card, which basically means that you can't recover it using Gladiator Beast Quest. But that's why you play three copies of it, because it's just that damn good. So basically, what this card states is that your opponent cannot target Gladiator Beast monsters that you control with card effects except during the battle phase. If a Gladiator Beast monster or monsters is special summoned to you during from your main deck, except during the damage step, you can special summon one other Gladiator Beast monster from your deck with a different type from the monsters that you control in defense position. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn, but that is absolutely not a problem for if the deck is going first, because it just allows you to swiftly generate more Gladiator Beast names on your side of the field for more Link and Fusion plays. Very, very strong card. Absolutely amazing. Very, very strong card. We're going to continue our discussions with spells on by showing off three copies of Gladiator Beats Comeback. Now, this card is pretty much like your revival spell. It's also a continuity spell, pretty much. So, Gladiator Beats Comeback states that if you can special summon one Gladiator Beats monster from your hand or from your graveyard with a different type from the monsters that you control, and if you special summon a Gladiator Beast monster in this way, that monster cannot be destroyed by battle. Absolutely wonderful. So if you special summon, say, a Gladiator Beast Augustus to a zone that is pointed to by the Smoggling from your hand or from your graveyard, Augustus doesn't get its effect because it was not special summoned with the effect of a Gladiator Beast, but it now gains an additional effect that it cannot be destroyed by battle. So that is absolutely great. So, as you know already, the Simog link basically protects each of the winged beast monsters, including itself, that it points to, from being targeted and destroyed by card effects. So, if you special summon a winged beast, Gladiator Beast, to a zone that is pointed to by Simog using this card, that monster is absolutely, it's like it's busted. It can't be destroyed by battle, it can't be destroyed by card effects, and it can't be targeted by card effects, which is absolutely amazing. Furthermore, even if you weren't bothered about that particular effect, you could still use the Gladiator Beat sponsor that you special summon by this effect for link or fusion plays, which is really, really strong as a material. Next, I also played two copies of Gladiator of Xyz Reception. Uh, I like this card. A lot of people are actually telling me that fusion deployment is much better, but I think this card actually has a niche role in the deck. It's a more cheaper, affordable deck as well, which you can actually use. Uh, Yeah, so it's got a place in the deck. I feel it actually can help you just generate more presence on your side of the field. So if you open this card, it's not all bad. Is assuming the rest of your hand is all right. So what this card states is that you target one face-up monster that you control on your side of the field that has a level, and special summon one monster with the exact same level that that monster on your field has from your hand. And if you do so, the monster that you special summon from your hand using this card's effect has its effects negated and its attack and defense becomes zero. But that is not a problem for you because you're going to use that for a link or for a fusion play immediately from in your Gladiator Beast profile. Not a problem. Not a problem. Next, we play two copies of Unexpected Die. Ah, I like this card to be honest. I'm actually trying to find my third copy. I want to run this at three, but right now I can only play two. But what this card is basically if you control no monsters, you can special summon one level four or lower normal monster from your deck to your side of the field. So that's like really, really strong. You can use this to put a Gladiator Beats name in Gladiator Beats Undle to your side of the field immediately. And if you've opened Gladiator Beats Rejection, you most likely should because if you're playing three copies of it. If you activate Gladiator Beats Rejection and then you play this card, you special summon Gladiator Beats Undle. Rejection activates immediately to put another Gladiator Beats on your side of the field, allowing you to go into the Tamer Editor play. Sorry, not Tamer Editor. I mean the Test Panther play allows you to search for another Gladiator Beast card. Really, really strong. It actually allows you to put a test path on your side of the field without using up your normal summon. Very strong card. Last but not least, I find that this is actually something of a necessity for the deck to run, especially considering that the deck is still pretty vulnerable to hand traps, and also because Ash Blossom is perhaps this deck's biggest nemesis, and so is Nibiru. But we can't really do much against Nibiru unless we put a monster negate out in five summons, which is actually quite possible. It's theoretically possible. This is kind of to protect against Ash most of the time, and this is basically three copies of Call by the Grave. Yeah, pretty much. Target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, and if you do, that monster's effect is negated until the end of the next turn, as well as any activated effects of that monster on the opponent's side of the field so with the same original name. So this is a quick play. It can be activated during either player's turn, so that's really really strong. It can also be chained to the effects of any of your opponent's activated effects. So if your opponents have something in the graveyard which is really pesky that you really need to get rid of on your side of the field when you're going into your turn, I would highly advise using this first if you haven't already used it to block off the Ash Blossom. Really, really important, I would say so. This actually acts as an additional negate on your side of the field, depending upon the situation. If the same monster on the field is trying to activate an effect as a monster in the graveyard, then this actually can come into play as well. It's like really, really strong. One thing you will probably notice compared to my previous profile is that I'm not running Gladiator Beats War Chariot anymore. Yes, that is true. I have completely gotten rid of that card. I don't think that is needed in the strategy anymore. You can choose to side it in, going first in games 2 and 3 if you so wish. But at the same time, there are also other cards you can actually choose to side depending upon your locals, depending upon the kind of competition that you're facing, depending upon the matchup that you're in. So just take the time to actually analyze your competition, analyze your deck strengths and weaknesses, study your matchups, and construct the side deck accordingly. This is one of the reasons why I don't specifically discuss a side deck on any of my videos because a side deck is very matchup and competition dependent. It really is. So that'll be all from me for this particular deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And please leave a comment down in the comment box, in the comment section below, as to how you think I can go about improving this tech profile and what I can do to better the quality of my content. Thank you very much. I hope you're having a great day like I am. Thank you.